bottleneck, building a fizzer.
In a giant sea of cool podcasts, you found the podcast that kicks the cool to the curb. Welcome to Kick the Cool. I am older sister Shishi.
And I am the biggest little brother Tone.
I am your little brother Wopsle.
And this is the podcast that gives you the reviews you didn't know you needed.
That's right. You didn't know.
You didn't know. And now you do. And you're welcome.
Afterward, you'll know you didn't need them.
That's right. But you won't know until you get to the end. So it's important that you listen all the way to the end.
Yep.
We just went through a huge ice storm.
Yeah, we did.
You know, and what do you do when you don't have electricity? You read a book.
Yeah.
Right. Like the pioneers.
Just like the Pioneers by candlelight. And by the time you're all half blind, by the time you're finished, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
So the book that I read was The Missing Piece by Sharon Sala. And it was really good. All of her books are really good. I don't know if you guys have really read a lot of Sharon Sala because she's kind of like in the romance genre, but she also does suspense.
Well, we've kind of needed to talk about this for a while because we told, we kind of made a deal with Sharon that we would, talk about her stuff and she would talk about our stuff. And she posted this beautiful, wonderful post on Facebook about how we're her favorite podcasts. And we, she knows us and grew up, we grew up with her and stuff like that. And it was amazing. And so, of course we read her book as we said we would. And what a great book. And it was so great growing up with her. And like, she was our she was my middle school secretary. And so that was her back then in the little town of Prague, Oklahoma. And now she is she's published over 100 books. She is a New York Times best-selling author. And it's like, what? How is that possible?
I know. It's pretty crazy. She posted on Facebook. She has a huge Facebook following, and she posted a complete book list. And it starts in 1991 and goes all the way through current day. And she has 130 books, y'all.
130. Oh, my goodness.
130 books.
That's so awesome. I was gonna say, in my young life, I knew that our mom was close to her, and I knew that Tony, you had her as your secretary, so we kind of knew her. But I always knew of her because whenever I would take a friend to Walden Books in the Shawnee Mall, I would always take them over to the romance section, and they were like, "What are you doing, bro?" Like, yeah, we were obviously here to look at Maxim. Like, what are we trying to do? And I would just point at one of Sharon's books. I'd be like, "Hey, yeah, my family knows her really well," and they'd be like, "Okay, cool." And we would just would sit there and expect them to be impressed. Like, no, I know that person that's on that book.
Yeah.
And so it was this really strange sense of pride for me. I was like, Sharon is awesome. Think that I'm awesome now. And no one really made that connection, but
it's kind of our only claim to fame. You know what I mean? It's it's the only thing we've got.
Well, she might have been, because as you mentioned, Tone, she was the secretary at the middle school when we were young, and so she might have been the witness to the only time I ever got licks at school. I got a spanking at school. And the principal was gone. And so Mr. McKenzie, the art teacher, had to deliver I was supposed to get 3 licks. And she was the witness.
If you're going to get licks, you want the art teacher to do it, I think.
You would think.
Oh, yeah.
I would think.
You would think.
Is the band director busy?
No, this guy, he was also a sports guy.
Oh.
So I got in a fight with Michelle Pruitt. And of course she started it, but then since we were both fighting, we had to get licks. So I think her mom came and got her. So I don't think she actually got the licks, but I can't remember why I didn't do the same thing. I was just like, you know what? I get licks all the time. I can handle this. Just give me my licks. I'll go back to class. But poor Mr. McKenzie, I was like 80 pounds soaking wet. Okay. He gave me one and it was way too hard. And I think that Sharon was sitting there like, she might not, I'm sure she doesn't remember it. She probably witnessed many people getting licks, but
oh yeah.
Yeah. So and he was like, okay, I think we're done now. You can
really? After
you can
one?
go. Yeah. He was like, I'm not doing it. He's like, the next time the principal's gone, nobody's getting in a fight. I don't care what I have to do. Because this was terrible. You could tell he didn't know how to do it. And it was I'm sure very painful to watch. So thank you, Sharon, for being comforting presence in my time of pain.
Yeah. And what I was in around the seventh grade, I kind of decided like I had been a very like on top of it scholastic, kind of guy, like as a young kid. And around the seventh grade, I decided, you know what, I'm going to break bad. And so I started to break bad a little bit. And one of the things that I allowed myself to do
break bad
was roam the halls, as my only goal in life was to get out of the classroom as often as possible. So then I started seeing, every once in a while I would see our principal, Jackie Hargrove. I would see Mrs. Hargrove in the hallway, and she'd be like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And I'd tone and I'd be like, "I'm doing pretty good, Jack." And she would say, "Well, are you in class, or are you supposed to be in class?" I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm just going to the bathroom, but I thought I'd stop and talk to you." And so this started a thing where every day I would skip class as much as I could, but then I would go to the principal's office, come in and sit down and talk to Sharon for like a half hour. And then the bell would ring and I'd go in and talk to Mrs. Hargrove for like a half hour. And I just talked to him and we just have a conversation like we were all adults and everything. And I was 13 years
that
old,
is
something like that.
So you, Tone. That is so you. Oh my gosh.
So I'm sure that's how Sharon Sala remembers me, as the little kid who thought he could just walk in and sit down and go, "Hey, let's talk. What about this weather we're having?"
Now, see, when we were little, I didn't see that as a weird thing because you just like to shoot the breeze, and it was fine. But can you imagine as an adult have a little kid come in there and say, "So, how's it going? How's your life? How are the kids?"
Yeah.
I would so humor that now. If I had a kid come to me and do that, I would just be like,
right.
Just
I'd be all about
let them go. Yeah. And then laugh and tell everyone I knew.
Right.
When we were done. Yeah.
Yeah. There is a distinction between young people like that just they talk and who knows, but then some of them you're like, yeah, this is actually a real conversation. Like this is
right.
Like it's so out of place and weird. This is awesome. So I totally think, Tone, that's probably what you brought. I think you were like some kind of like middle school, like Ferris Bueller. I feel like you were, and you kind of just like,
right. I was
had this swagger, and you could just roll up and just talk to Sharon Sala for 30 minutes, and like everyone was just like, well, yeah, that's what he's doing.
There's Tony. He's just, and if the teacher came by and was like, "Oh, Tony, what are you doing?" I'd be like, "I'm talking to Sharon." And they'd be like, "Okay."
You figured it out. You were Ferris Bueller.
They would say, "Oh, don't you mean Mrs. Sala?" And you would say, No, I meant what I said.
I said what I said. Thank you very much. I think you heard me correctly.
Oh my gosh.
So it's big props to Sharon Sala, our only claim to fame and our great friend. I'll tell you what, if you want to do anything to make your life better right now, well, after you listen to this podcast, which will make your life immensely better, of course, because we're going to help you so much, go to Sharon Sala's Facebook and follow her. And you will crack up nonstop because she posts about every day, and it's usually a very long post, but it's always got humor in it. It's always got really good like articulation because she's a writer, and it's also got uplifting, great life lessons wrapped in every story. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And I just thought, she's such a big supporter and I love her books. And this one was no exception. So I just thought we needed to give her an elongated shout out. We love you, Sharon.
Yeah. Thank you, Sharon.
Yeah, you're the best, Sharon.
Okay. Let's get to the reviews. I think Tone is up first.
Come and play. Everything's A-okay. On my way to where the air is sweet. Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street? How to get to Sesame Street? How to get to Sesame Street? Fading out on Sesame Street.
Great review. Great review. Yes.
We're gonna review Sesame Street, guys.
Oh, man. Sometimes we just break out into song and then the review has nothing to do with it. So I wasn't totally sure.
Yeah, we were waiting.
That would have
For you
been
to
so
confirm.
good if I would have gotten done with that and then said, we're gonna review motor oil.
Oh, I'm writing that down for a future episode.
I promise I'm pulling that on you sometime soon. Singing the song.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. We're gonna review pencils. What?
But I'm glad that it is Sesame Street because I'm pumped. I love Sesame Street, man. It's still such a part of my life. I love that I loved that whenever I was 5, but I also distinctly remember watching it with you guys. And you guys were old enough where you didn't have to watch it anymore.
Really?
But it's good enough, like especially like Teeny Little Super Guy. Like we all loved that together. And so Sesame Street was like a very strange, like unifying thing. I was learning from it. You guys still enjoyed it. So that's why I think I still love it so much, is because I felt like it was something that we all had in common.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much. Very much.
That's sweet. Well, I just the first thing that I always think of when I think of Sesame Street after Big Bird is that we had a safe word when we were growing up. Like if you know how kids, if their parents are in a wreck, someone's coming to pick them up from school, they don't know the people, but they're, so if that situation happened, if the person said a la peanut butter sandwiches, we would know that they were the real person and not trying to kidnap us. So that's the first thing I always think of. Very fond memories of Sesame
Who is
Street.
the character that, other than Big Bird, of course, who is the character that to you is Sesame Street, epitomizes Sesame Street?
I want to answer Oscar the Grouch. Like that is Sesame Street to me.
Right. Now, also we have to take Elmo out of it. Elmo is the new generation. You can't.
Yeah.
No Elmo, no Big Bird. For me, Snuffleupagus, that will always be Sesame Street to me.
Mhm.
I don't know why, but the mystery. Wopsle, you didn't get to see this whole thing when we were kids about Snuffy and this mountain that was shaped like Snuffy, and Big Bird was trying to find Snuffleupagus. I think this might be when they introduced the character.
Oh, baby.
And it was a long buildup. It was like weeks long of this thing where they would drop little hints here and there about Snuffleupagus. And then finally there was the big reveal, and it was mind-blowing.
And isn't he just Big Bird's imaginary friend? Like nobody else can see Snuffleupagus. He's
That's how
Big
it
Bird's
started.
imaginary friend.
No, that's how it started.
Not now. Yeah, right.
Well, no, but that's why he went to find him, is because no one believed him that he was real, but he was the whole time.
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I love
What
Snuffy.
a great story.
I love Snuffy too. He's pretty good, but I think about like I have tons of Sesame Street coloring books, and I can tell you that Bert and Ernie are Sesame Street.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah.
it's not Big
that's
Bird.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
They are the ones that are on everything. They're in the books about, washing your hands good and going pee-pee in the potty. It's always Bert and Ernie and Big Bird.
Yes.
Well, and then you have to, it's so hard to narrow it down because I think Bert and Ernie are the next ones that I think of after Big Bird. But I really have a soft spot in my heart for Kermit the Frog is.
Yeah.
Not a Sesame Street character.
Yeah.
Well, but he's on Sesame Street. That's where he's kind of an outlier.
Sesame Street. He
Yeah.
does he's one of the ones that Bert and Ernie are they on Sesame Street? I mean, are they actually on the street?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Kermit that's where he originated.
Oh, I did not know that.
You did know, you just forgot because he's in everything else too. So
Right.
now I'm probably talking out of the side of my mouth.
I thought that he was Muppets first and then went.
I don't
That's
think
what
there
I
was
thought.
Muppets first, y'all, because this started.
Oh.
Introduced in 1955. Most notably Sesame Street.
Okay, nice.
Sesame Street did not air until 1969.
Well, okay, so what I meant was he was there from the beginning of Sesame Street.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Like, that's where we would know him from.
Yeah, how interesting is this? So in 1969, actually, a week from, you'll be listening to this, most people will be listening to this on Monday, November 2nd, and on November 10th, 1969. So we are a week away from the anniversary of the creation of Sesame Street. And by the middle of the 70s, by mid 70s, there were a lot of different articles and stuff that were coming out of people saying this is a culturally dominating thing. This is like, people were already like by 75, 6 years later, we're already saying this thing is going to be a gigantic part of our world.
Well, I don't think there was really anything like it, at the time. So it's kind of fallen off in popularity because they have so many choices for kids programming now.
Sure.
But,
Yeah, that's true.
back then, that was it.
Like Sesame Street still isn't flashy. They don't try to rush through anything.
Mm-mm.
They let the adults talk and the adults care and listen. And that's one reason why our family loves it so much is like, it's such a break from everything else that is like too crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I do think that's part of why they're not quite as popular, but it's also part of why it's like better.
Well, I love this sentence from Wikipedia. Check this out, guys. Listen to this. It was the first preschool educational television program to base its content and production values on laboratory and formative research. And that's kind of like what you get out of Sesame Street is like, it's smart and it cares and it's real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're still doing that. Back in April, Sesame Street did a coronavirus town hall so that kids could watch it and hear what was going on with this coronavirus.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so good and just makes you emotional that it exists in the world. And like Ryan's World didn't do a special on that, like that's the big YouTube guy right now. They didn't kind of bother with it. So yeah.
Yeah. And you know what else like really brings it home and puts a tear in your eye? Super Grover. I mean, Super Grover will move your heart and your soul.
Yes.
He's got that utility sock. I love a utility sock.
Come on. And the helmet that's always falling off.
He's good.
Well, I used to do impressions of all of the characters.
Okay,
I don't know how good they were.
Yeah, that's exactly what we need to do.
Okay.
Then. Okay.
There was a bit that Grover did about near and far. And so he's standing kind of back here and he near. See, I can't do it anymore. I'm too grown up.
That's
and then
he like an old witch.
Far. Near.
Oh, that sounds like Yoda.
Well, he kind of sound like Yoda.
Near you will. Wopsle, give me your Super Grover, please, or your Grover.
Trying to think of something Super Grover says.
Hi ho, Kermit the Frog here. Oh, I used to do a Mean Miss Piggy too.
Oh, now I bet you can still pull that one off.
Yeah, I'd have to practice. I haven't done any of these voices in a very long time.
The only Miss Piggy I got is
oh, wow.
That's pretty good, wasn't it?
Incredible.
That was great.
That's really good. I saw her. I just saw her.
Hey, do you remember that puppet?
Here.
Do you guys remember that I had a Miss Piggy puppet? Like her head was almost life size and she had this long blonde hair and I loved her.
Yes, I remember that. Didn't I have one too?
Did
or
you?
Maybe not. I thought I had a Kermit or I don't know. I'm sure it was Oscar the Grouch because that's what we needed to let the audience know that growing up, of course, I was called Oscar the Grouch because I was a grumpy little kid.
You were so grouchy.
Now, part of that was because my sister was a jerk and just called me grouchy.
Oh, yeah,
But part
right.
of it was because I was actually grouchy.
I believe Mom was the one that coined that phrase regarding you. So,
Which I'll tell you, the main thing you want to do with a kid who's grumpy all the time, make fun of him. That's
Right.
that's definitely going to make him go,
They'll
oh,
cheer
I
up.
shouldn't be upset anymore. Nice going, grumpy ass.
yeah,
Grumpy
when
ass little
somebody's,
kid.
well, it's like telling a woman to calm down.
Exactly.
Don't do that.
Exactly. Yeah. You're getting a little hysterical,
hey.
lady.
Tone, did you know you're grumpy? No, I'm not. I'm not grumpy. And then you lay down on the floor and kick,
And
throw
pout,
yourself into
yeah.
the wall.
Slam my head into the concrete. Yeah.
Yeah. That's true, by the way, everyone.
Sherry,
Yeah,
I
he
do
actually
need
did
though,
that.
before we leave this, I do need to hear your Miss Piggy.
Well, let me think.
I mean, obviously Kermie, right? Like, you know.
I can't really think of anything that she said all the time, but let me get into this.
Yeah, do it. Just do it. Just let it rip.
Kermie.
Let it rip.
Kermie.
Oh.
Kermie, do you want to go to the show with me, Kermie?
Okay, I like it. I'm gonna
There's
do.
traces. Yeah.
I'm gonna answer that. Oh, hey, yeah. I'm Kermit the Frog. I want to go to the show with Miss Piggy.
I changed my mind.
Oh no! I sound more like Yogi Bear.
I was going to say too. And I'm Oscar the Grouch over here.
Oh, okay.
Over here. See, I can't do any of
Hey.
these guy voices because my voice is too high and it will never come out right. And it's just so
Well,
frustrating.
then do the guitarist from the band. What's her
Oh,
name?
yeah, but she wasn't
Okay,
from
wait.
Sesame Street.
Okay, wait. I was say neither was Miss Piggy. I got to be the voice of the
she
listener right
wasn't.
now to say
Yes,
Miss
she
Piggy
wasn't.
never
Wait.
made an appearance
No,
on Sesame Street.
she was not on. She was
Not
on
even
Muppet
once.
Show, and that was it. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's all Muppets. What are we doing?
No, I was letting Miss
What
Piggy
about
slide,
Animal?
it's all Jim Henson, but there is a distinction.
So so a bird. Ah, how about that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
A bird. Mm. That was really good.
Good job.
That was good. I'm afraid I might have one. Let me see if I can do this one. Elmo can use the potty.
That was really good.
That was actually really
I
good.
hear a lot of Elmo. Yeah, I hear a lot of him around here.
Hey bird. Now that sounds exactly like the Yogi I was just doing.
Mhm.
This was supposed to be Kermit the Frog. Hey bird.
3/4 of the characters are Yogi.
Everything I do is Ernie.
So, yeah, well, you remember, Tone,
Hey, Bert.
that you pretty much were Ernie, even though we called you
was
Oscar the
Ernie.
Grouch. I was Bert and you were Ernie.
Yes.
And that
it's
was
so
just
funny.
the way it
Our-
was.
Our personalities line up to this day with that.
So hard. And even though Bert has black hair, technically, his whole countenance is more light colored and Ernie's is more dark. And so that's kind of how we looked. And I was the taller one and you were the shorter one. And I was the anal one and you were the loosey goosey one. So,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, we really were. We were Bert and Ernie, full on, full stop.
Yeah. And what does that make Wopsle? Elmo.
Oh,
He is Elmo.
Can I be Cookie? Couldn't I be Cookie at least? Somebody?
I think you're Elmo.
Oh,
I'm sorry. That makes me sad.
No, Elmo's good. But he is a
he's
baby.
not, guys.
He's
Down in the
not.
middle
Let's
of
be
it, he's the
honest.
worst.
Trust me, I am doing this right now. I'm doing the Elmo right now, and it's not great.
The other thing too, I think the humans on Sesame Street to me are what made Sesame Street so different. Because these humans would look at Elmo and say, like, tell me how you're feeling and let's work through this.
Yeah.
And that was really pretty. That was a big deal, I think.
I didn't really get that I don't know if it changed. Like maybe they tried to do that more later, but I didn't really get that from Sesame Street as much. Or maybe I just didn't care. Maybe I was just a hard-hearted little girl who got in fights in the locker room and,
Right, because the streets had made you too hard already.
That's right.
Tony,
I
you
was
never
already
got
too
spanked.
hard.
You never got spanked at school.
I did once. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, what was great about the difference between my spanking and Sherry's, so the art teacher comes in with his obviously very strong wrist, very stern wrist.
Very.
And gives her one swat, probably not that hard because she's, like she said, 80 pounds soaking wet, and says, well, I think that's fine. That's enough. And you can go on your way. He's Richard Nixon. I don't know why. And then my guy was the PE teacher, Mr. Linville. And Mr. Linville was like, he said, well, the principal's not here today, boys. And he had this gleam in his eye. He was like, so you're going to have to get your swats from me. That dude pummeled me. I was in the 5th grade or the 3rd grade. I was in the 3rd grade. And that PE teacher gave it to me.
Boys have a very different experience at school than girls do, I think.
So whereas the art teacher in Sherry's situation went to school saying, principal's gone, I hope no one gets in trouble. That PE teacher walked in and said, ooh, the principal's gone. I can't wait to incite some trouble today.
He started cracking his knuckles. He started loosening up. Yeah.
I can't believe you guys both got swats. I feel like you guys got a lot more cred than I do right now.
Oh, you didn't get swats?
Didn't get swats.
What a nerd. You can't hang out with us cool kids.
I got run up the flagpole by my belt loop one time, and that kid got swats.
You did?
So I really
cred.
did, yeah.
Well, that's nerd cred. So you're more credible on this show than we are. We have street cred. You have nerd cred.
And you played Dungeons and Dragons last night.
Yeah.
You definitely were winning the nerd game.
Totes.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, so our listeners were all like, oh, those two got swats. They're like, I can't hang with that. But then they're like, oh, but Wapsel got wedgies and plays D&D.
Yeah.
Now I'm back on track.
Yeah.
Right. Now we are back on track. Wapsel, what do you rate Sesame Street?
Oh, man, what a hard thing to rate. I think I got to rate it again. What one of my favorite things is I'm going to rate it 1,000 teeny little super guys.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
1,000.
I love that.
Can't judge a hero by his size. Just a teeny little super guy.
And Shishi, what do you rate Sesame Street?
Rubber ducky, you're the one.
Oh,
you make bath time lots of fun. I rate Sesame Street 10 out of 10 rubber duckies.
10 out of 10 rubber duckies. That was my song. That was my jam.
Yes, it was.
All right. I rate Sesame Street 6 headstones out of 7 headstones that say Burton Ernie. Because one day I was going through a cemetery and I saw a headstone with a person named Burton, first name, last name, Ernie.
No
Burton
way.
Ernie. I swear.
Oh my God. Did you take a
Burton
picture of it?
Ernie. I did not. I was 12 years old.
Oh, man. You got to find that again.
Yeah, we didn't just always immediately have cameras at the ready back in the day. And sometimes we forget that.
Right. Yeah, I would have been some sort of like super sleuth if I would have just pulled out a camera. Everybody went, whoa.
Yeah.
Right,
you got
Hardy
your
boy.
big flash on top.
Okay, Hardy boy.
You got to put your press hat on. Okay. Well, that was a really good review, Tone. That's a great topic. Thanks for doing that. So Wapsel, what did you bring to the table this week?
This is kind of impossible to review, but right now, if you're listening to this on release day, we're kind of just coming off of Halloween. And I just want to talk about the biggest stressor to me during Halloween season. And that's the costumes that we have to wear.
Oh.
I want to talk about costumes, like Halloween costumes specifically, but it could be any costume if you have something important to say about it. So, Shishi, what do you think about costumes? And when's the last time you had to wear a costume?
Well, gosh. I I really love costumes. I love dressing up, but I'm not confident enough to do that. So it has been a very long time since I've done anything for Halloween besides like putting on silly cat ears or, putting on little whiskers or whatever. I'll paint my face a little bit, but I don't know. It's like, it's really a lot of pressure nowadays to get a good Halloween costume. And it wasn't like that when we were kids. You could just throw on a pillowcase and call yourself a ghost and it was fine.
Right.
But kids don't do that now.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I never dress up. And the reason I never dress up is because it's always too complicated. There's always too much that goes into it.
They are a lot of effort. And, and right now, so it's November for most people listening to this and us recording it. And right now I'm saying to myself, I should get on Halloween 2021 today.
Exactly.
If I start today planning, buying, then heaven forbid, though, next summer I'm all prepared and then Tiger King comes out and I'm like, well, now I got to do my whole costume to be Tiger King.
Yeah.
Right.
But so this was what I decided this year. And I want you guys to hold me accountable to this. I decided, you know what? Because I have one costume that I've returned to over and over and over. And it's so comforting to have that costume that is going to be great.
Yes.
You can pull an audible from it, but if you don't, you go back. And I have one, and it is a Quail Man costume from the cartoon Doug. It's incredible. I've got a great, I'll post pictures of it this week on social media stuff. A great Quail Man costume. But no one ever knows who it is. And this year, when I wore it 4 different times, I got called Captain Underpants.
Oh, yeah.
Not the vibe I'm going for. I'm trying to be Quail Man. I'm trying to be like the deepest cut to 90s kids cartoons ever. And when I get called Captain Underpants, it just sucks. So I decided this year, if I could get a baller Donatello costume, I could wear that every single year, no matter what. And everyone would think it was awesome.
Totally.
I love it. That's a great idea.
So I have a year to figure out my Ninja Turtle costume.
Well, hey, I had my costume planned out for this year. It was going to be great. First year, I was going to wear a costume. And guess who it was? I was going to do Molly Shannon as Sally O'Malley doing the 50 kick and stretch.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Excellent.
And then life smashed that dream. And now that costume has gone to the wind. I can never wear it again because I won't be 50 next year. I'll be 51.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So don't plan too hard.
So don't
is all I'm saying.
In life.
Right.
Ever.
Right. Okay, here's what I think. I think that we need to institute something here, and I'm going to give everyone a plan that this is going to work. Okay, now you can't every single year, you can't be the person who is on every single birthday. You are on Christmas. You're doing all the Christmas, all the Thanksgiving, all the Halloween, just hooping it up, just amazing costume. April Fool's Day, you are on it every year. Big pranks, just dominating the April Fool's landscape. 4th of July, you have the best party. You can't nail everyone every year. So I say take a year off and get it every 3rd, 4th year. So this year I'm gonna be the 4th of July guy. All year I'm gonna plan for 4th of July, and that's it, right? Next year it's gonna be all about Halloween. Of course, I'm going to hang out with people on 4th of July. And of course, I'm going to go to the Christmas celebration that we have. But it's going to be all about my Halloween costume this year. And then I do want to encourage people to start doing April Fool's pranks because we're losing that holiday and it's going to be gone pretty soon if we don't start doing something about it.
Yeah, no, I hear you because it only takes one great costume every 5 years or so to kind of tide everybody over.
That's right.
Yeah.
People could totally remember hey, remember whenever you were like Marty McFly? It could be 3 years ago, but you were like, oh, yeah, that was awesome, man. So you're right. You just got to hit it once every now and then.
I love what you're saying about having the Donatello costume because so Pete, I think there's a great appreciation for people who are hey, it's Elvis again. You were Elvis the last 3 years running, dude. This is awesome. Elvis is back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Donatello, dude, if Waspel shows up in his Donatello costume tonight, I am going to flip out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like when someone invites you to the party and be like, hey, yeah, make sure you be there. You're going to be Donatello, right? And you're like, you know it. Like,
Right.
then you've arrived.
Right.
That is a great point.
Yeah. Everybody's
That's
just
a
waiting
great
to
call.
start the party until the Ninja Turtle gets here.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
don't
that
have
ain't bad.
anything to say about that because you guys are so out of my league as far as parties go and like what's cool at parties, how people have fun at parties. I got nothing. I don't know.
Well-
I don't do parties.
Well, let me bring up a party scenario that I think we can all speak to then real quick. So recently, Amy and I kind of got this friend group that invites us to their Halloween party, and it's all couples. And this is the best group of costumes, the best collective group of costumes, I would argue, on the planet.
Nice.
These people go out so hard and look so cool. And so the first year, Amy and I showed up as like, look, we drew tattoos on our arm, but like, no, it's a different level. And so we've had to up our game. And so first of all, like, there is, if you get invited to the right party, like the party is so great that it's worth us like stressing out about this to figure out.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That sounds like it's not very nice of them to make you stress out about your costume.
Right.
And they don't. I think they would totally be cool if we just showed up, like thing 1 and thing 2 or something. But like,
Yeah.
just everyone just does really, really well. And so, so do you guys have any good couples costumes ideas?
Ooh.
Have you seen ever any good couples costumes?
I mean,
and they always, they always have to go together.
Well, I don't. I
Like
see
last
them,
year,
and I think they're clever, and then I completely,
Yeah.
just dismiss them because I'm not a
Right.
couple. So,
right.
and I
same
don't go to
here. I
parties.
don't, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so last year the one that won was the kid from Coco and the guy that he spends most of the time with is trying to get back from the undead world.
oh my gosh,
So-
did everyone just burst into tears instantly upon seeing that?
it,
'cause
it was the greatest.
That
It was
movie makes me cry so
it's
hard.
it's so much crying. The year before that, I think the people that won there was like a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory kind of deal. I forget. I think the girl was Veruca Salt and he was Willy Wonka. So it's it's pretty much always like fictional characters like that. And so I haven't seen anybody do like Salt and Pepper. Like something cute like that. It's usually a little bit more intense.
Yeah, I mean, can you only be like 2 of the Ghostbusters? Can you be Venkman and I mean, can you? I don't know if that works.
I would say you have. It has to be okay because they weren't always together.
That's true.
It's okay.
That's
It's a
true.
group
Yeah.
of 4 people. You can be 2 of those people. Sure.
You just have to have an excuse of where the other 2 are.
Right.
And
You
just,
have
like,
to have that
be
part
way
of your
too
costume.
forthcoming with it.
Yes.
That's right. You
Yes.
need to be. You need to have a note, a handwritten note that
Yeah.
says, "Dear Venkman, we are at the blah blah blah. We're getting coffee and for the crew or something."
Have a text message on your phone that says, "Hey man, we're going to be a little bit late. We
Yeah.
stopped to get some brews."
Yes. Oh,
And
gosh.
just show it to everybody. Just put it in everybody's face. Oh man, the other 2 couldn't be here yet.
There you
Throw it
go.
away.
Part of the costume. That's
great.
genius. Yeah, it's all about. It's not about finding the costume that works. I like where you're at. Like take whatever costume and then make it fit. Right, make it work.
Right.
Stick
Yeah.
it in there.
Yes.
Crowbar that sucker in.
Yep.
Now, going with that, can you just have your phone with an Amazon order pulled up and just be in normal clothes and just be like, my costume didn't show up yet. As you can see, it's en route to Utah.
Oh my gosh. That would be funny, but I don't know if it would count. But yeah.
I think it would make people physically mad.
Yeah.
Like I think people would get literally angry.
Yeah.
Because I just got a little bit peeved.
Go ahead and try it and tell us how it turns out.
For the right group of people, that would be the goal and that would be
Yes,
funny. But
yes.
again, for this party I'm talking about, it wouldn't be worth it. Well, and then one more aspect real quick about couples costumes is, what the worst part about a couples costume is if you, most of the time, if you get creative enough with it, where it's like a play on words or a pun or something, then when half of the costume is gone for a second, you usually look like a real
Yes.
doofus.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so true. Yeah, you can't be too dependent on all the different parts of the. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I will tell you one thing that I really appreciated is that here's how much this year I was not into Halloween. I didn't have anything going on, so it was just stay at home Halloween time, right? And I went to the grocery store and I was walking through and I saw a lady pirate. And I thought to myself, I wonder what's going on around here. Huh, there must be a thing going on.
There's some kind of a thing.
Yeah, and then I went, picked up, okay, these look like some good chips. That guy looks, well, his looked weird. I wonder, he must be part of that same thing.
Like when you start to see like your third classic car on the street, you realize there's a car show somewhere. Did that ever?
Exactly how I felt. Yeah. Then I got into line and I thought to myself something about blah 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 Halloween, and then I went, oh. And I think I said it out loud. I was in line at the grocery store, and all of a sudden I go, oh.
What I wouldn't give. I sometimes shop at that grocery store myself, and what would I give to walk upon you and just see you go, oh, and know exactly what you were.
As I'm pointing at two Ninja Turtles.
Oh,
that is two great gifts. The wonder you experienced as to why are these people looking like this is a gift. And then the realization too is another gift for us today, right now.
Right. I loved that moment where I saw the first one and I was like, oh, Lady Pirate. Lady Pirate. There you go. Oh, I don't know. I wonder.
You had to let that slide. You were just like, well, all right, that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Lady Pirate. Sometimes there is one.
Isn't there always a lady pirate somewhere? I mean, seriously.
Right. That's true.
Oh man. If we're lucky. Okay, well, I think we could go on and on about costume ideas.
That one hit me late. Sorry.
let's listen, we should tell people we are recording this one late. It is after 10 p.m. already.
Oh yeah.
Everything gets a little loosey-goosey at this time of the night.
We like to call it Kick the Cool After Dark.
After dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go.
So here we go. But you're up first on this rating. What do you rate costumes?
Oh, I have to totally rate this 8 out of 20 fake vampire teeth. That is my rating. Nice.
That's kind of low. That's a low rating.
Yeah, I don't like dressing up anymore. Not really.
Those ones that hurt your teeth so bad too?
That, no, I
any mouth ever.
That's fine if that's what you know about. But I was a vampire every year in college because that was the sexiest costume. So I had filed down some Lee press-on nails.
So gross.
And got some Fixodent and stuck them on the front of my teeth.
Whoa, that's dedication.
I know. It was way too much trouble. I mean, what's the point of being sexy if you can't kiss anyone because your teeth will fall off in their mouth? Right?
Right.
Look at how sexy I am. I can't really talk with things in my mouth.
Because that was in Big Anne Rice time. Right? Interview with the Vampire time. Okay, go ahead.
I saw you looking at me, and I know that you think I'm sexy.
Could you hand me my Pepsodent, please?
Please hand me my Pepsodent. Might as well just eat a bunch of marbles.
Right. I just went with marble in mouth, man.
Yeah.
Marble mouth man.
Okay, I'm jotting that one down. That's a great one. Next year, Amy can go as Lee Press on Nails Vampire Girl, and I can go in Marble on Mouth Man.
Oh, yeah.
And it will be a Kick the Cool reference.
Yes.
Oh,
No,
man.
I
If
thought
people
we all
start
have-
going as Kick the Cool characters.
Oh, my gosh. We have so many.
I know.
You got to go as Hot Doug and Hot Donna.
We gotta go with Hot Dog and Hot Donna. Yeah.
Yes.
And one of the kids can be Hot Dog.
Hot dog.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, that's a great idea. Too bad we didn't have this idea, October 1st. So we could have said, hey,
Right.
everybody.
Yeah.
2018, October 1st, 2018.
right. Oh, man. Okay. Tone, what is your rating for costumes?
Well, I see Sherry gave it a low rating because she doesn't like having to hassle with the costume and whatnot. Well, I don't either. I don't like that either. But I have a gigantic appreciation when someone else is in costume.
Yeah.
I love it. I
Yeah, I
love
do
it so
too.
much, man. I'm like, yes, you rock that. Please, everyone else dress up. I'm
Right.
not gonna, but will you guys please do it?
Totally.
And so, therefore, I'm going to give costumes or Halloween costumes specifically 8 out of 10 lady pirates.
I'm totally on board with that, Tony, because that's why I gave it 8 for other people's costumes. Yes.
No, you. Oh, you gave it
8 out of 20. Yes. Yes.
But we're still seeing eye to eye. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's good. I don't know why Lady Pirates just made me very uncomfortable, but I don't know, something about it. It's because it's after dark. Here we go.
After dark.
I have to give costumes, while I like them, I do have to give costumes a rating of 1 nondescript wizard. because specifically last year, Amy and I went to that same party I was talking about as fantasy football. So she dressed up like a football player, and I dressed up like a wizard. And we were fantasy football.
And then she wandered off to talk to her girlfriends.
And then when she wandered off, someone came up to me and they said, "Hey, are you supposed to be Moses?" And I said, "No." And I pointed to the pointy hat, and they go,
"Yes."
"Oh, Gandalf?" And I said, "No." And they go, "So what? You're just a nondescript wizard?" And I was about to correct him and explain it, and I just said, "Yeah."
Yeah. Nailed it. You got me.
Yep.
I feel like it would be worth the explanation, like the breath to explain that. That seems really.
But the music is so loud and like this. I mean, I'd rather talk about something other than. Here's what I know. I've showed up to way too many costume parties and spent 3/4 of my words that night explaining my costume to people.
I see.
That doesn't make for a fun night. That's a big miss.
Hey,
Maybe that's what.
No, I'm fantasy and Amy is football. What?
Maybe
what's amnesty football? No, I'm fantasy. Yeah, you can't.
Maybe that's why I never figured that out, and that's why I don't like dressing up, because that sounds so familiar. So
right,
maybe that's it.
Yeah, right. No,
Okay.
hey, the whole explaining your Halloween costume is a lot like having to explain a joke. It really is, right? It's basically what you're doing. You tell a joke and then you go, "Okay, let me explain."
Let me break down the characters and the plot of that joke.
I really appreciate a good joke explanation most of the time. So
then you love Kick the Cool.
was that a joke? Okay, well, let's move on. All right. Well, our 5-star review is kind of going in the vein of what we talked about when we first opened the podcast with talking about Sharon Sala's books. She has a new book called The Last Straw, and it is the book 4 in the Jigsaw Files series. And we read book 1 just now, so I've got to get caught up because I really want to finish the series. It's very suspenseful, and the characters are great. And it's ready for pre-order. And there's also, I think they probably have audiobooks available. Maybe not right away, but the other 3 have audiobooks. So you can get it in e-format, you can get it in print format, and eventually you'll have it in audio format. So that is our 5-star review.
And guys, you've got to go check this book out, this series of books, the Jigsaw Files. I mean, check out all of Sharon's books. They're all great, but you've got to check out the Jigsaw Files because like one thing that Sharon does so well is the characters are not stereotypical. And
Not
so
at
there
all.
are things, not at all. They're so unique. And you're like, I never thought of a character that would have all these traits combined just to become such a well-drawn character. She's amazing at that.
Yeah, she really is.
Yeah, and I'll say too that, growing up, our mom always read a lot of Sharon Sala, but she was primarily a romance novel writer, which means I wasn't reading her. Thanks, but I'm glad it's out there. I'm glad to point you out at Walden Books, but I don't want to read it. But this, and so some people probably know Sharon that are listening to this, but this is definitely not a romance novel. It is a mystery novel,
Suspense, mystery, yeah.
But it's just so well written, and so if you're like me, you've always wanted to read Sharon but didn't have a book you wanted to read of hers, well, now you've got something to look into.
Well, I will say this: you probably didn't realize this, Wapsel, because you haven't. Tony and I've been writing for years, and so we're kind of more up on that. But she has a pseudonym, and the pseudonym is Dinah McCall, and the Sharon Sala name was sort of the romance name, and then Dinah McCall was more of the suspense name. She's been writing this kind of book for years, and she has a huge backlist. So I think that now she's not doing Dinah McCall so much. She's just writing under her own name, but she's prolific and awesome. So I would tell everyone to go check out Sharon Sala's new book, pre-order The Last Straw. 5-star review.
Oh, yeah. I will say this, though, something that needs to be rectified. I could not find a Wikipedia page for her, which is a travesty. Really? Yes, I can't believe there is no Sharon Sala Wikipedia page.
Dude, we have to fix that.
We've got to, yeah. I'm already planning on putting in a request to get her on Wikipedia, because when you have 130 published books, you need to be on Wikipedia.
Yes. All right. So I brought a very large topic to the table today. And I think that we've talked about this a lot, but there's so much to talk about. I'm talking about Minecraft. Talking about Minecraft. So, Tone, what are your first impressions of this game that we spend so much time on?
It's the perfect game. It's the perfect game. And the reason is because there's no other game where you've crafted something so cool and fun and beautiful and useful, and you're like, look at this amazing thing I just made. And then you hear a sound behind you and you scream in real life. You scream IRL. Yeah, you hear and you scream and shake and run. Like the other day, I threw my controller. I threw I threw my mouse like accidentally, like because a creeper was like on me.
The creeper freak out. That's the funniest.
It is. Wapsel saw the aftermath because I left it. There was a big crater in our town, and I was like, I'm leaving that crater there so Wapsel can see that somebody got by a creeper.
Yeah, and I don't know how a creeper could have gotten there because it's pretty well lit up in that part. And so I was like, what happened here, Tone? Did a creeper blow up over here? And you were like, yeah, it got me, dude. I wanted to leave the evidence.
Those are the best whenever you're in a well-lit area and you're like, oh, I'm totally safe.
Yeah.
But I think creepers can be in lit areas. Can they not?
They can't spawn in a lit area.
No, but they can travel over land and hill and dale.
Yeah.
And kill your ass. Yes, they can.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think it's near perfect game too. I assume you remember this, Tone. There's lots of games that I have played, and then I try to talk other people into playing. Even like Destiny. I loved that game and tried to get people to play with me. Or WoW. World of Warcraft. I've made people play with me before. But Minecraft was the first time I was ever so adamant, Tony, that you played. Do you remember? I just kind of without asking your permission, I bought you a copy and just gave you the login, and I was like. This is the most important thing I've ever done as your little brother. You have to play this game right now.
Well, yeah. And there are several moments that you probably have these moments too from your gameplay that you will remember them forever. Like one time I was digging a hole and something fell in from the top on top of me. And I thought it was a spider. So I was freaking out, jumping around, screaming, throwing my controller, all of this. And it was a cow. And the kids laughed their butts off for like 20 minutes. And I never lived it down.
That's great.
Those things are like defined in my mind as if they really happened.
Yeah, as if it was a real life event. I will never forget the time where I was on single player mode, so it was just me in this world, and I knew I would not see anyone else, and I knew my world very well because it was during a time where we did not have a server going, and we weren't, there was no multiplayer going, so I would just play my own Minecraft on my computer, and so I have this giant sprawling world that is lit up. Every square millimeter of this place is lit up completely. And it's one of those ones where I've got the interior circle of my world so perfect and lit up and pristine. I don't touch it anymore. Now I go to the outskirts of my world. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like the town or the main town or whatever, I don't even mess with that anymore. And so I go into my house, I sleep real quick, I jump up, run out, I run to the door to leave the house, I open it, and there is a creeper standing right there literally in the next square, right? Like right on my steps, right in front of me, and looking the other way. My first reaction was close the door and run away. So here's how it happened in real time. I run up, open the door, close it, see the creeper, close it, run away, and go out the front door. Because
you know better than to mess with those creepers. Yes, totally.
They're the worst.
And then you're running through grass and you hear psh, and you think it's a creeper, but it's just the grass.
Just the grass, yes.
Just the grass.
So many villains, like zombies are kind of, whatever, but like creepers give you this real sense of dread, not just because they can kill you, but because they can destroy your stuff. I think that's, a big part of it.
Yeah.
But also, there's very few games that give me the dread that Enderman gives me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like something that's not going to attack me unless I look at it, and then I feel like with every movement, I'm so close to looking at it. I'm like, no, I can't.
Or it'll appear in front of you. It appears in front of you, and you have to look at it because you're just pointed that direction. That is the worst.
Or you chop through a tree, and right on the other side is an Enderman, so you're looking right at him. You're like, no, guys. Like if anyone does not know what we're talking about, and to bring it around real quick,
I was about to mention that.
We're doing a lot of nerd talk here, but listen up. You have to get involved in this game. If you have kids, they will absolutely love it, and it's a very great learning tool. I think it's good in all kinds of different ways to learn about decoration and building and architecture and and then also just to kill some zombos, and have some fun.
I'm telling you that the next generation, like 15, 20 years from now, the next generation of engineers that are really doing things are going to say that they fell in love with engineering because of Minecraft.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
It's literally going to change a generation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Totally.
For the better.
Really, what do you enjoy doing in the game the most? What is your favorite part of the game?
I feel like among our friends, I'm kind of the redstone guy. I love to make really difficult redstone contraptions.
Right, because in that realm that we were in, you had carts going everywhere to far reaches of the map.
And even like, I won't make just a giant wheat farm, but whatever wheat farm I have, it's like automated to harvest with a lever that, floods it with water and puts it all sorts it into a chest.
That's so cool.
I like that kind of stuff quite a bit. So, redstone might be my favorite.
Well, I love redstone, but I just find myself I love to build structures and I love to build like community. I love to build a community is my main thing. I like for there to be a lot of buildings. I like for it to feel like you're in a civilization when you're walking through there, And so, but I will tell you this, Wopsle, just today I finished my automatic sorting system. Now it is ready to go on the second level of the bottom of the down one level of my house. So
Ooh.
I will go check that out when we get off of here.
Yeah, it's not
Because I
done
love
yet,
that.
but it's not done, but it works. And so, you
Yeah.
got to go check it out.
Well, my favorite thing to do, this is weird because I'm really scared of the mobs, like so scared of the mobs. I just feel like I can't look everywhere and I hate not knowing what's behind me. But my favorite thing to do is explore caves and mine. And,
really? Okay.
Yeah, because I just love the discovery of it. So I am really good at boxing myself in, making sure that everything's lit up. You know, I'm not good at fighting because I get too ramped up. And we had one time we had this controller that was kind of over, it's out of its lifespan. And every time you kind of twisted it, it would do crazy things on the screen. It would make you drop your stuff and throw things. And so, man, if a creeper came up on me or a zombie in a mine shaft, I had to.
You never knew what was going to happen.
I never knew what was going to happen. I lost so many things. I threw my diamond sword at the guy and it did nothing. I mean, it was crazy, but that's just me. I freak out and I'm not good at fighting. So I just make sure that I prepare. That's me. I prepare.
Yeah. Well, I'm the same way. I'm not very good at fighting. So what I do is you may have never met a sleep Nazi as much as me, because when it gets dark, I'm telling everybody to get in their bed on the server because I want to sleep through the night. Thank you. And can we just go ahead and get back up in the morning?
Yeah.
And then there's other people like Wopsle who are just like running around in the middle of the night. And there's like, there's like 30 skeletons chasing after him. And he's just like rowing in his boat and they're shooting arrows at him. And he's like, oh, do you want to sleep? We can sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes, Tony, I'll know exactly where you are. And I'm like, why do you want to sleep? I'm out here running around in the wilds like a crazy man, fighting for my life every 3 seconds. And you're just like working on your armor shop, like tweaking the crown molding.
Right.
Like, why do you care?
Hey, by the way, okay, so here's the thing. Anyone who is still listening to this podcast now, that means you probably like Minecraft, because if you don't like Minecraft,
you must love it.
You must really love it, because every other person has turned off this show, and I know that. But
Sharon Sala is no longer with us.
That's right.
Thank you, Sharon.
Okay.
We love you.
Thanks, Sharon. We love you. Bye. But here's the thing. I want to let every person listening now know, you should send me a message if you'd like to play on my server. I'm serious.
Yes.
Like, send me a message. I'll get you. It's free. You don't have to pay anything to play on the server. I mean, you have to buy Minecraft, but it's not very expensive at all. And then you can play for free on my realm. So send us a message, and all of our family members need to definitely come and check out the new world that we're working on.
Wow, that is awesome. I didn't even think about that. Like, you can just have anybody you want on there. Anybody who wants to be there can be there. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get some ratings going here. Tone, what do you rate Minecraft?
Well, the first thing I said about Minecraft was it's the best game ever made. So I'm going to have to give Minecraft 1,000 out of 1,000 strange mountains. Look at that mountain. That looks weird.
Oh, wait, it just didn't load. Okay, now it's a normal mountain.
That's right. That's what I should have said. 1,000 out of 1,000 half-loaded
mountains. Yeah. LLB, what do you rate Minecraft?
Without a doubt, I rate Minecraft finding diamonds.
Yes.
Because there is not a game that can recreate the feeling that you get when you're mining and you see a diamond.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's right.
It's just so rare, and it's the best. I've been doing it for roughly 9 years now, and it's still just as good as it was the first time.
I love the preparation, the very fast planning that goes through your mind when you see diamonds over in amongst a bunch of monsters. Like in a big cavern or something, and you're like, "There's diamonds over there."
Yeah.
And then your mind starts
like
going,
clock
"Okay,
is ticking."
Yeah. Yeah, they're gonna be there the whole time. It's
they're
fine.
still gonna be there.
let's see. I'm going to have to rate Minecraft 100 out of 100 purple sheep. That is my rating.
Oh, wait, that's a cow.
Because that's something that we do together. We dye sheep and breed sheep. So
we do. Yeah. And we love it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
That's a good topic.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's going to do it for us this week.
Yeah. Hey, I think starting very soon, we are going to, we're considering adding a listener submission every single week. If we were to do that, then we would really need to log some more listener submissions. So if you've got any burning review that you want us to help you figure out or share your opinion with the world, please send that to us at reviews@kick.cool. And the more of those we get, the quicker we can add a weekly segment to our show.
Well, and I will say this too. Wopsle said, if you have a burning review, something that's burning in your soul that you need reviewed, you know what? If you got anything, any ideas you have, send them to us. I don't, even if if it's not burning in your soul, just tell us. Come on, guys, send us ideas. Also, we want to thank the band Bugs for letting us use the song Reviews as our theme song. Bugs, of course, is always coming out with new music, and they're one of the best bands in the world. Thanks, Bugs.
Thanks, Bugs.
Thank you, Bugs. So you guys follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Go buy a mug. Come support us if you like what we're doing. I'm Shishi.
And I'm Tone.
And I'm Wop.
Okay. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you.
Love you, I do.
Good job, guys. We did a great job on this episode. Like the fact that it's 10:45 at night and we're still alive. It's really awesome.
I think we learned something excellently from this podcast. When we do a late night one, let's make sure we can do things that we all love and are excited about. Because I feel like that kind of helped us.
Oh,
If
yeah.
we ever do pain tonight, I feel like we would have had a hard time.
If we would have done politics tonight, no.
Right, no bueno. So I like those difficult reviews sometimes. Late night one, I think.
Cool.
And when you do it a lot, you sound like a villager from Minecraft, I feel like. When you just did it 4 times in a row.
Aww.
Oh.